want to appreciate every single person who takes time to watch our videos, to read our posts, to share them, or even just react on our posts. We don't take that for granted. Today we talk on infant colic, and colic is just that intense crying and fussiness that usually occur in an otherwise healthy baby. This is usually so frustrating because most of the time there's really nothing you can do about it, and no matter what you do, sometimes this crying is unconsolable. They follow a certain pattern, and so most of the time the crying usually happens towards the evenings and at night. So colic pains are nothing serious, and you should not worry as long as your baby is otherwise healthy. And we know a baby is healthy when they breastfeed enough, they have enough diaper changes for urine. That means at least 6 diapers full of urine in 24 hours. We usually don't count poop, but of course they need to poop at least once or twice in a day. So as long as your baby is like that and they are able to sleep in stretches of 2 to 3 hours during the day and they'll be awake most of the night, these babies are actually healthy, and of course that steady increase in weight. We say the colic crying is still okay as long as it has not surpassed more than 4 hours in a span of 24 hours. So what are the features of colic pain? Number one is that intense crying. Sometimes you may feel that your baby is actually experiencing some abdominal pain. And then the second thing is these babies are inconsolable. No matter what you do, sometimes you will never be able to calm a baby who's having colic pain. And then the third thing is that they have specific timings. So most of the crying is usually during the evenings, and of course this can be quite distressing because most of the evenings are the times that most parents are expected to at least get some time to rest as they prepare for the next day. And then sometimes they'll tense up their bodies. For example, they just stiffen their lower limbs, or they'll clench their fists, or they'll tense their abdomen, and it will just last for the time that these babies are crying, and then after some time they'll just ease up, and then they're okay and back to feeding. And also another feature is that it has nothing to do with what you did or did not do. So the good thing about the colic pain, these kids will outgrow it, and by the time they get to 3 to 4 months, most of the colic pain would have disappeared. The peak time is usually at around 6 weeks. So what is the cause of colic pain? It's unknown, but the contributing factors are things like food intolerance or food allergies, also things like immaturity of the digestive system that may cause pain as well. Also things like imbalance of the gut bacteria, the good bacteria. So that's why sometimes we recommend giving probiotics to a child who has colic pain, and that has shown to really work. The other contributing factor is now overfeeding. Yes, overfeeding can really distress a child. Underfeeding, of course, not they'll also be crying because of hunger, and then of course not being able to burp your baby after each feed. If you are able to at least take care of most of these contributing factors, it means you're most likely to reduce that severe, intense colic pains. So now your baby is crying, what do you do? Of course, you'll try to soothe your baby. And how do you soothe a crying baby? You can carry the baby and walk around the house. Avoid shaking the baby. I know sometimes it's almost a reflex when a baby cries, you just start to shake the baby. It's not advised, especially if you keep on, you see, if the crying is so intense, automatically you're forced to also increase the amount of shaking you do to that baby. So the best thing is just carry the baby and walk around the house. Shaking sometimes has effect on the baby's brain. For those mothers who are stronger, what you can do is just put the baby on the crib and let the baby cry, and once the baby is done crying, they'll sleep. Just like the way when you carry the baby and walk around the house, the baby will continue to cry till when they are tired of crying, then they'll sleep. And then the third thing that you can do is put the baby on a stroller and do a walk, or sometimes put the baby in a car and take a ride. The other thing that you can do to soothe your baby is provide some white noise. White noise is basically a sound that has constant intensity. So like a sound of a blow dryer or a vacuum cleaner, or you can even do that just shh. As you try to walk the baby in the house, you can just be doing that sound of shh, or if you have a blow dryer in the other room, you can just switch it on, and you just see the baby automatically trying to calm down because of that distraction. The other thing that you can do, you can give your baby a warm bath. Now this is for the babies who like to bath. And once you're done with bathing them, you can do a tummy massage, or you can put the baby on their tummy as you do a back rub. Sometimes that will also help. And the second thing that you need to do is, now looking at the baby's diet. If the mom is doing exclusive breastfeeding, they may need to look into things like dairy and dairy products. That means it's milk and milk products, and also things like eggs, things like cocoa and cocoa products, things like alcohol if they are taking alcohol, or things like some types of nuts, wheat, or even legumes and lentils. You may really need to look into that and see, maybe there are some types of food that when you eat, they tend to make the colic pain worse. If your baby is doing formula, you might have to change the brand of the formula, or even change to a hypoallergenic type of formula, just as a way of reducing that irritation on the gut. And the third thing that you need to do as a parent is you need to take care of yourself, because having a newborn is not a walk in the park. It's a lot of work, and most of the time you do need a very strong support system. Babies who have had very severe colic pain, usually their parents tend to have postpartum depression, just because of that stress that comes with this crying baby and them not being able to take enough care of themselves. So the first thing that a parent, either a mom or dad or both, have to do is, number one, they need to take a break. There have to be specific times that the mother has at least 5-10 minutes or even an hour off from the baby. That means they are able to take a shower, they are able to exercise, they are able to take a walk, they are able to read a book, they are able to just sleep or take time to meditate without them being interrupted with this baby. It's very, very important for the mother to maintain their sanity. Then the second thing is, these mothers need to have enough time to sleep. It's very important. They need to have 8 hours of sleep in a span of 24 hours, just like any other person. So she may either have 2 hours of sleep 4 times in a day, or 1 hour of sleep 8 times in a day, or any time that the baby sleeps, the mother also gets an opportunity to sleep. So you really check what works for you. Then the third thing that you need to remember is, please do not judge yourself. Babies will cry. Your baby crying has nothing to do with you. It's not your fault. You should not look at it as that's a sign that I'm failing as a parent. No, babies will cry. And also have time to express yourself. If you think you need to cry, cry. If you need to shout, shout. Just have space where you can express. And for the spouses or partners, make sure you are able to really understand your wives or your partners, because this is usually a very sensitive time, and most of the ladies are very fragile emotionally. So don't take it personal. Be there and support your lady through this period. It doesn't last forever. I really, really hope this is helpful. Thank you so much for taking time to watch this. It's always